Hey everybody, I'm Isaiah and welcome back to my topic channel. So after 30 years, of Power Rangers, we had a pretty good thing coming up for 30 years. We had the really good Netflix special Once and Always. Then we had the technical 30th season of Power Rangers being Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, which was a complete sequel to Dino Fury. It has the same characters. It takes place continuing the story. We have that new Power Ranger video game coming out. We had a lot of great things coming out for Power Rangers. And it all seems like it just went to shit. So if you don't know, supposedly ever since 2019, when Hasbro, who now owns Power Rangers, they started partnering with Netflix, and we were supposed to get a really cool Power Rangers story, movie, show universe where it's going to be a lot more mature, going to try to bring in, old fans and new fans of like. And then this weekend, now it's not confirmed by Hasbro, this did not come from them, this did not come from Netflix, but it's supposedly now done. Like, it was canceled. And that made a lot of Power Ranger fans, including myself, be like, what's the future and what is happening to Power Rangers, this is a franchise that's been going on for 30 years and many different shapes and forms, We just had, a weird 30th anniversary kind of for Hasbro, with the Power Rangers. They did Once and Always, which was really well received. It was a really good special. Hasbro was putting out, a lot more really close to 30th anniversary. For the most part, literally all of their merchandising was 30th anniversary for Power Rangers. Like, you had all these different merchandises. The Funko Pops in the back were from the 30th anniversary. But now, according to this, Hasbro just completely killed Power Rangers, which they've been doing for 5 years. I'm going to go in this video. I'm going to go in a lot more later. But, what is happening to Power Rangers is a question that's being asked now. As of yesterday, there was a lot of news about it being like, oh, this new thing is canceled, so what's going to happen now? So if you don't know, in 2019, Hasbro acquired the rights to Power Rangers, not just the toy line, which a lot of people, when they first heard about it, they're like, oh, cool. You know what Hasbro does? Transformers. You know what kind of are like Transformers? Power Rangers and their Zords. So they thought it was going to be kind of cool. But this is after Bandai, who literally had the toy rights for 25 years, they're now just kind of getting swept away because Hasbro bought the entire entity. They didn't just want the Power Ranger toy line. They wanted the shows and the movie rights to have all of that. And they started doing these weird things, and some people liked it, but then otherwise some people hated it. And to me, I was always very mixed. Now, here's the thing. When Hasbro first bought it, I was literally at the time where I was not buying, toys anymore. I was too old for that. I was just only really enjoying the shows. So I was just kind of like, if the shows are good, then I'll keep coming back. That's all I care about, And Beast Morphers, which was the very first season that Hasbro did, I enjoyed. I really did. I thought it really was reminding me of ones like SPD, Time Force, all of that. I loved the RPM thing. I thought Beast Morphers was actually pretty good, and a lot of people did too. But then you have Dino Fury, and I thought that was good too. Then Cosmic Fury was just kind of fine. It was like, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. A lot of people hated Cosmic Fury because it really wasn't a 30th anniversary season. And it looked like, what was Cosmic Fury supposed to be? Was it supposed to be a season finale or a series finale? Because right now it's looking like it's a series finale. And a lot of Power Ranger fans are really talking about this. There have been other videos about it. But I'm very concerned for this franchise because, did it just literally die? And, you might be wondering, oh, well, why are you, here? I've just been a Power Ranger fan for literally most of my life. A lot of my life has kind of accumulated around Power Rangers and Super Sentai in general. Mostly Power Rangers. You can see I still have a lot of memorabilia. I've shown it off multiple times. So I'm a little concerned of what's going to happen to this franchise after. So really, realistically, what it says right now is that Hasbro, for the most part, is canceling their mature Power Ranger season. But what does that mean for Power Rangers as a whole? So in one of the things, and I'll throw it up right now, it actually stated that Hasbro is now going to be the final year, as they actually only had the right to Power Rangers for 5 years, and it's supposedly going to get sold off to someone next year. So meaning that Hasbro, you bought the franchise, and I know why, and I'll give you an answer in a minute. Held it on for 5 years. You went up, and then you crashed the franchise, and now you're saying that by the beginning of next year, it is going to be sold off to someone else. Now, what does that mean? Power Rangers has been through this before. In the 90s, you had the golden era where Saban first started. That's from Mighty Morphin to Wild Force. Wild Force was at the time where Disney had bought the show, and then they moved the show to New Zealand in 2003. Then you had the Disney era until 2010, when Disney literally got tired of having the Power Ranger license. They weren't doing much with it. They didn't want it anymore. And Saban bought it back and had it on Nickelodeon. They bought a renaissance back. Old fans came back. New fans were there. People loved it. People hated it. And then Hasbro ended up buying it. And now threw the entire fandom into a full-blown frenzy. And I was just looking at all this and I'm like, what the actual fuck is going on? Because I'm just very confused as a fan of what is going to happen to this franchise. Now, I've been a fan since I was a kid. I started with Samurai. So I've been with this entity of Power Rangers for a long time. A little over 10 years. I think almost like 13 or 14 years I've been with this franchise. So what's actually going to happen, and what are the future? Well, obviously there are a lot of different ideas, right? But I'm going to tell you guys why Hasbro was so interested in Power Rangers, right? In 2017 alone, and this is probably why Hasbro was in. Not viewership, not for movies. The toy line of Power Rangers in 2017 was the #1 toy seller at the time, of all time at that point. It had dethroned a lot of other cool ones. Power Rangers became really popular again. In 2017, that was probably because of the release of this movie. The Power Rangers 2017 movie came out. That was also really hit or miss. That was also very hit or miss. But Hasbro saw that. We're like, the #1 bestseller in toys. Let's grab it. And Hasbro really much did not care. A lot of people are actually also saying that Hasbro bought Power Rangers out of pittiness, because if you don't know, like I said, Hasbro not only has Transformers, but Hasbro also has the likes of Barbie and G.I. Joe. And actually, Hasbro used to have the licensing for, they were one of the biggest toy brands of all time in the 90s. Hasbro, Mattel, and everything. When Bandai came in with Power Rangers in the 90s, Power Rangers is the most successful toy line of the 90s, period. So Hasbro was kind of left in the dust after that. And a lot of people think that there were, Hasbro bought them and they didn't want to do much and they screwed it up because of pittiness. I don't think so. I just think there was a lot of fucking bad ideas. Now here's the thing with Hasbro too. Hasbro has their Lightning Collection. If you don't know, their Lightning Collection is basically full-blown like Bandai's Legacy line. The Lightning Collection had the Morphers, but they ended up doing Lightning Collection figures too. Now this is also a kind of thing in the collectible world as well, where it is literally dying as well. The Lightning Collection line, everything Hasbro was doing, they just completely killed. They killed the Lightning Collection line, they killed any further notice of Power Rangers. They killed the franchise in literally the span of 5 years. So what does that mean now? Well, Lightning Collection, they always had problems. They were doing this and doing that with it. Literally what happened was they only completed a handful of teams. They completed Mighty Morphin Zeo, In Space, Lost Galaxy, RPM, Dino Thunder, Dino Charge, and that's it. Those are the only teams they had really done. Every other team that they did, they don't even have. They never made a lot of them. And a lot of them are really important seasons, too. Time Force didn't get a complete set, Wild Force didn't get a complete set. A lot of these different, they kind of just killed everything. And they had multiple reasons to do it. Now, here's the thing. I love Mighty Morphin to death. I know it's the most important. I know it's considered the most important and the most popular series of Power Rangers. But that means that people only want to, that means that a lot of companies, they're going to think that only people are going to buy Mighty Morphin stuff. So they focus too much on Mighty Morphin, and they just end up full blow going. They make too much Mighty Morphin stuff, And people are like, well, what about Zeo? What about Turbo? What about Galaxy? What about Lightspeed? What about Mystic Force? Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder? Like, where is all of this stuff that you promised us? And Hasbro's like, well, we already know people are going to want Mighty Morphin. We do, but if you don't understand is that there are other seasons other than Mighty Morphin. There are so many other seasons. So let's bring back to this next question. What is happening with Power Rangers, the show? So as of right now, there is no plan to have another Power Ranger show series. As of right now, they wanted to do the one on Netflix, but as of right now, we really don't know, the entity and like the certainty of that show, what's happening. So there are other ways to get Power Rangers out, and one thing that's actually been cleared that I honestly been wanting to see for a while. There's even talks about putting the Power Rangers in animation. Animated, like an animated series where the Rangers are the same, they have voice actors, and I've been wanting to see Power Rangers animated forever. Once the Boom comics came out, also the Boom comics are also now ending their line. I'm pretty sure there's still going to be Power Ranger comics of some sorts. But the Boom comics, I would love to see those animated. I would love to see those animate into movies, kind of like the Batman movies and the Ninja Turtle ones that they put out. I feel like that would be really cool because those are for the actual, those are more for the older fans. I think older fans would like that. But this is what I wish that they've always done in general, right? You have Power Rangers, for the kids demographic, the 13 and under, right? You have something that gives them then, but then you have to give something to the older fans that's going to be a little more mature, a little more dark. We've been wanting that forever, And now there's so many different things that, if Power Rangers continue, there's a lot of different things that they can do, The one that a lot of people are thinking about is if Power Rangers get sold off to, is it going to go back to Saban? You can get Viacom, who owns Nickelodeon, and Paramount to actually work something out with Hasbro. But then Hasbro with the toy line, they're actually licensing out to Playmates. And that kind of brings my question into Playmates, right? If you are doing Power Rangers, Playmates has the toy rights to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Say, for example, if Viacom and Paramount make a deal with Hasbro, could we maybe get a Ninja Turtle Power Ranger movie crossover that's animated or it's CG or another kind of technology? Are we gonna get an AI Power Ranger series? I'll watch it. We have so many new technologies. We have so much new technology that can go into these different properties, and people would love them. I feel like it could actually bring in a pretty big demographic of old fans and new fans. But the thing is, that's really hard to do with Power Rangers in any entity. You have to bring in the older fans if you want it to be for everyone. The Ninja Turtles, like I said, they do it pretty well. Ninja Turtles started in the 80s as comic books, and they did the 1987 cartoon series, and that ended in the late 90s. By that point, in 2012, Nickelodeon fully took over and put the Ninja Turtles out. At that point, there were a lot of parents that watched the old school show, watching this new show with their kids. I was one of those kids, my parents were watching Ninja Turtles with me, and they were being like, oh, I remember watching these when I was a kid. It was kind of a thing that kind of came full circle. So why can't Power Rangers be that? My one thing that I feel like it's a thing is that it's really hard to please the older Power Ranger fans, that are just oh, I grew up with Mighty Morphin, that's all I care about, I don't want to see anything else. But then you also have the adult fans like me where oh, we still love Power Rangers, we've seen every single one, we want to see more. It's hard, it's you can please us, but you can also not please us, but it's really hard to, please the older audience. And a lot of people are oh, we're going to do this for nostalgia, that's probably what Hasbro was thinking for the 30th anniversary. Yeah, your nostalgia train for the 90s, it's running down the track. Now it's getting to the 2000s and 2010s nostalgic. What? What do you mean? What? I feel you have to kind of do something where you're gonna have to be able to get to please everyone, So they could do something with it, but how could Power Rangers continue? I think one of the main ways that the show can continue is simply this. They can either go back to what worked, if Hasbro does it, or if they sell it off, And they do what they did. They take a Sentai, put American footage. Sentai a lot now is actually very well done in editing. It's very kind of close to what we're doing. It's very close to what we do in the States. It's really, instead of like the older ones where like it's all grainy, you can tell which is American and which Japanese footage. You could, or do this, you can go based on the original idea, do your entire cast, revamp the franchise and do something else, or you can completely use your own idea, make it American footage, and put it out for any age. Now, the thing with that is that you're relying on yourself at that point, so it'd be really hard to do. So, like, Power Rangers it has so many cool different ways on trying to revamp, the franchise. We've done it. You've seen Disney do it before. You've seen Saban do it before. In 2011, at that point, Disney had run its course with Power Rangers. They actually did not want the franchise anymore. I have a feeling that Disney really didn't want the franchise. They only saw it as, like, bringing in more boys, because they only really had cartoon characters and princesses. And then Disney did some really cool stuff. I'm not hating on Disney, but Disney then ended up going on and stating that they did not want anything else to do with Power Rangers. They kind of like left it to other people that are like, we'll just brand it like fuck it, like, like fuck Power Rangers, all that stuff. Then Saban finally came back and marketed the shit out of Samurai. Power Ranger Samurai, I feel like it had the same kind of like nostalgic hold on us that Mighty Morphin did back in the day when Power Rangers fully came back with Saban. So my big concern is just like, I don't want this franchise that I love to death with all my heart just to die because of a fucked up company's decisions, Like, the fans are already reaching out. I've seen so many videos on, like, what's happening, and it's basically everything that I said. We don't want this to die, but we're also very concerned about what the future is for Power Rangers. And honestly, the only thing I can say is that we just have to see, We really have to see what's going to happen with it. We have to see what Hasbro does, if it does get sold off, Also for streaming, like, you can make Power Rangers, you could go to Netflix, could go to, like, Paramount Plus, if Viacom buys it, you could go to Disney Plus, if Disney, Disney Era Part 2, Or you go to Tubi. Black Nerd Comedy, if you get into the video, he's like, you could go to Tubi. Honestly, you can go to any, streaming service now. I feel like if it happened in 2020, oh my God, Power Rangers would have been swooped up by any streaming service, because everyone was trying to start one. And Power Rangers is such a big entity, they know that people would get the streaming service for it. But do something like go animated, do a more mature movie, give us the movie sequel. A lot of people are saying that they want a sequel to the 2017 movie now, and they're like, we want my sequel. Where were you in 2017? Where were you? We wanted a sequel. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the people that love it now were probably looking at this movie in 2017 being like, oh, this is complete bullshit. We could have got the sequel if you were actually honest with your fucking opinion. Like, come on. But, like, I don't really know what's going to happen with Power Rangers. Like, I really just want this franchise to continue in any way. I'd love to see mature, takings on Power Rangers. I'd love to see some characters come back. I'd love to see some Rangers come back. I'd just love to see this franchise continue for years and years to come without getting, like, stale. I just want a really good Power Ranger series, and I really want the franchise to live on, This is a franchise that I love to death, so I really don't want to see it just die because of a company's decisions. But also, another cool thing with it is, you even have some Power Ranger actors that actually had, some cool ideas on what to do with Power Rangers. David Yost, the Blue Ranger, actually stated that he had a Power Ranger series being drifted up and scripted that takes place right after Once and Always, supposedly. And, the one question that someone had was, with JDF's unfortunate passing, what does that mean for, the likes of it? And he said, due to the unfortunate death, it's being rewritten. So maybe something can happen with that. And I'd love to see that, But anyway, guys, that's most of the video. That's a lot of the news of it. It's a real big question mark on what's going to happen now. There's a lot more videos out there like this. But anyway, guys, that was my take on what I want Power Rangers to happen. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope old Power Ranger fans, new Power Ranger fans find this video useful. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, because in my opinion, you always need topics in your life. Until I see you guys again, peace to the O, to the U, to the T. Peace out, guys.